You're sitting at the table with your child. They're stuck on a problem. They've been staring at it for 4 minutes. You can see exactly what they're missing. You know the answer. Every instinct in your body says, just help them. So you do. You explain it, walk them through it. They write down the answer, close the book. And tomorrow night, same problem, same blank stare. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening in that moment and what to do instead. I'm Jacquie Langworthy, and this is Raising Scholars. Welcome back to Raising Scholars. I'm Jacquie Langworthy, educator, learning center owner, and a mom who raised two confident, independent scholars. Last week, we talked about stepping back from the nag cycle, setting one expectation and asking once and trusting the structure. Today, we go one layer deeper into the hardest part of that, actually not doing the thing you know how to do, not stepping in, not fixing it, not filling the gap. Because for some of us, and I will put myself at the very top of this list, that's the real work. I'm going to get personal in this episode because this is not something I figured out before my kids went to college. It's something I'm still unpacking. And if I'm honest about that, it might free some of you to be honest with yourselves too. Let me start with something I had to reckon with about myself. I'm a gap filler by nature. If something needs doing, I do it. If someone is falling short, I step in. If I can see how something should go, I make it go that way. And as a parent, for a long time, I thought that was a strength. After my divorce, some of what I did for my kids came from guilt, the feeling that I had disrupted their world and I needed to make up for it. So I filled in the gaps. I absorbed the hard parts. I made things easier wherever I could. And some of it was just me. I was someone who does not shoot for good enough. I shoot for 150%, even when extra credit isn't on the table. So when my kids had a school project, I didn't help. I elevated. I took it to a place they probably couldn't have on their own. And I told myself I was supporting them. But what I was actually doing was taking the experience from them, the struggle, the creativity, the pride of having something built with their own hands. I was doing it and putting their name on it. It wasn't just projects. If the dishes weren't done and I didn't want to see them sitting there, I'd do them. If the dog needed to be taken out and they hadn't done it yet, I handled it. If they forgot something at school, I'd bring it. Even if they didn't ask, even if they didn't know they needed it yet, I was always scanning for what was missing and filling it in before they even felt the absence. And I didn't see the problem with any of this until I dropped my son off at college. I spent the entire move-in weekend asking, what do you need? Did you think about this? Did you pack that? What about this? I had a mental checklist running the whole time, and I was working through it for him. And then when I flew back home and he started calling me for the things he should have been able to figure out on his own, and at first I just answered, I problem solved, I helped. And then one day I remembered. I remember the time when he forgot his cleats when he was younger, and my first instinct was to figure out how to get it to them. And then I stopped myself. He figured it out. He borrowed a pair from his friend, from a teammate. He handled it, and he didn't fall apart. That was the moment I saw clearly. Every time that I had jumped in to fill in the gap, I had quietly told him, you can't handle this without me. And he was starting to believe it, not because he wasn't capable, because I never really let him find out. Overhelping is not a lack of love. It's love without limits. And it has consequences we don't see until our child is standing in the dorm room calling home for things they should already know. Think about the last time your child said, I don't know, before they even tried. That's not a knowledge gap. That's a learned response. They've learned that not knowing gets them help. Who taught them that? We did. With love, but we did. Every time you do it for them, you teach them they can't do it without you. So what does helping actually look like when it's not overhelping? Let me give you a picture. There's a spectrum. On one end, doing it for them, you solve the problem, you write the answer, you make the project better than they ever could. On the other end, walking away entirely, zero support, that's not the answer either. In the middle is the perfect amount of support where you are present, you're available, and you're not solving, you're guiding. Here's what that actually looks like. Ask instead of answer. What do you already know about this? What's the first step? What have you tried? Curiosity opens the brain. Explanation closes it. Point without solving. Look at the second line again. Check your notes from today. Then stop. Let them make the connections themselves. Name the skill without doing the skill. This is a multiplication problem. What do you know about multiplication? You're not giving the answer, you're activating what they already have. And be comfortable with the silence. After you ask a question, wait. Count to 10 in your head if you have to. That silence is not your cue to jump in. It's the sound of your child thinking. The most powerful thing you can do after asking a question is nothing. Just wait. Let me give you 4 specific moves you can use starting tonight. These are tools I wish I had been using years earlier. Move number 1, the curious question. When your child is stuck, before you say a word, ask a question. What do you think comes first? What does this question actually want you to find? Have you seen something like this before? Practical tip. Write 3 go-to questions on a sticky note and keep it at the homework spot. When you feel the urge to explain, reach for the note. Move number 2, point and pause. If they need a nudge, point to something. Not explain it. Check the notes from the day. Look at the example at the top of the page, then walk away. Let them connect the dots. This is something I do regularly in my center. I'll point right to an area that they need to look at, and I'll walk away. This is something I had to practice with my daughter, though. She is naturally independent, but in areas where I had experience, I wanted to shortcut it for her. I could see the full landscape. I had already been through it. And every time I wanted to say, here's how this works, let me show you, I had to catch myself and ask a question instead. Because here's what I realized. She didn't need me to show her the landscape. She needed to discover it herself. And the view is different and more meaningful when you found your own way to the top. My job wasn't to hand her the map. It was to ask the questions that helped her draw her own. Move number 3, the effort acknowledgement. Before you say anything else about the work, name what you see your child doing. I see you're working hard on this. I noticed you went back and reread that. That's a smart move. This is not empty praise. This is specific, effort-based acknowledgement that directs their attention back to their own capability. Name the effort before you address the outcome always. And move number 4, the clean exit. After you've asked a question or made a point, leave physically, another room. Your absence communicates trust, and trust is the thing your child needs most in that moment. Walking away is not abandoning your child. It is one of the most powerful messages of confidence you can send. I want to stop here and be honest with you about something. This is not something I've mastered and then moved on from. This is still my work. Even now, with my kids in college, I catch myself. I see something they might be missing and I want to feel it. I see a decision they're about to make and I can see the outcome from 3 steps ahead, and everything in my body wants me to tell them, but I've learned to ask instead. Did you think about this piece? What happens if this doesn't work out? Have you considered? And then I let them answer. And I sit with whatever they say, even when I disagree, even when I think I know better, because the goal was never for them to need me forever. The goal was to raise people who could navigate life without me in the room. And the only way I could give them that was to step out of the room. What are you still doing for your child that they should be doing for themselves? Just sit with that question for a moment. Now, I'm not saying never help. There's a difference between productive struggle and genuine confusion, and you need to know which is which. Productive struggle, thinking, attempting, erasing, trying again, frustration that is still engaged. This is where learning happens. Stay out. Genuine confusion, that's the complete shutdown. Nothing is moving. We can't go forward. A child who has truly hit a wall and is going nowhere. This is when you step in, but with a question, not an answer. Tell me what you understand so far. That helps you to find the gap and helps them to organize their own thinking. And if the gap is real and shows up consistently, that's your signal. Not to reteach the lesson at 9 p.m., but to flag it, to bring it to the teacher, to find outside support, because that's not overhelping. That's reading the room correctly. Your job isn't to fill every silence. Your job is to learn which silences are golden and which ones need attention. Before I let you go, 3 things. Follow and subscribe wherever you're listening. New episodes every week, all season. And the Sunday Reset drops every Sunday with one practical tip to help you build a confident, independent learner. 2, download the free Raise Scholar Framework Guide at raisingscholarspodcast.com. The A pillar, autonomy over assistance, is everything we talked about today. The full guide with practical actions is completely free. And 3, share this episode with a parent who is deep in the overhelping cycle, who is doing everything for their child and wondering why independence isn't growing. Send it to them tonight. So here's what I want you to hold on to. I didn't learn all of this before my kids grew up. I learned a lot of it after, in the reflection, in the honest look back at the things I did out of love that quietly got in their way. And what I know now, the thing that I'm still practicing, is this. My job was never to make their lives easy. My job was to make them ready. I started stepping back earlier with my daughter than I did with my son, and I watched what happened. She navigated hard conversations with friends on her own. She worked through things with family members instead of coming to me to fix it. She'd have a rough day and come home, not looking for me to solve it, just looking for a safe place to land. And I was there, not as the fixer, as the soft place. This is the relationship I wanted. This is the parent I was working toward, not the one who handled everything, the one they could come home to. And that's truly what we're building toward. A child who knows that they can come to you, but they don't always need you. A child who knows how to do the hard things and knows that you'll be there when they're done. Helping your child doesn't always look like stepping in. Sometimes the most powerful help you can give them is stepping back and trusting them to find their way. I'm Jacquie Langworthy. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week.